bit my lip. You ever had Baba Ganoush? I'll tell you one game that was great is Pong.
Can you name the ghosts of Pac-Man?
Speedy, Shadow, Bashful, it's also a dwarf, by the way, and then Pokey. But then they have nicknames. Blinky, then the pink one is Speedy, but then his nickname is Pinky. Blue one is Bashful. His nickname is Inky, which I can kind of see. And then Pokey is the yellow one, but then his nickname is Clyde. Like, don't be the yellow. Don't let anybody treat you like Pokey. Don't be the Clyde of the Pac-Man ghosts. You are Shadow. Hello, adventurer. So the last time we talked about Pinterest, we talked about curating, how we don't live just in the information age, we live in the editorial age, that it's not about having every bit and byte on the internet at our disposal, but knowing the right things. And Pinterest helps you curate from that and find those things that interest you and find that inspiration. Well, in this episode, I want to talk about collaboration, because the only thing more powerful than curating inspiration is doing that with your friends. So let's begin to explore. So we're here on my Pinterest profile, and so here I have my list of boards. And since we're talking about collaborations, these are some of the boards that I just have for me that I'm pinning different things to. But then you'll see down here, they will have ones that have the little people icon, and that means there are people that I'm collaborating with. So here's one that's called T-shirts and bow ties. Sometimes when my friends see a different T-shirt that they think is pretty rad, they'll just post it here. It kind of becomes this group collection. So here on the collaborators, it shows that I have several people that are all collaborating on this board, and so they can post directly to this board. So what's great about that, they can interact and they can work on that. We can do that all because of collaboration. What you're gonna have to do first though is you're gonna have to make sure that you are following your friends. So to be able to invite them for collaboration, they're gonna need to follow you to be able to do that so that you can invite them to that board. What I'm gonna show you though is how to find your friends. You just go right there again to the settings here. When you go to settings, you're just looking for find your friends there. And so we are gonna go to settings, find your friends, and then I can find my friends right from Facebook, and it is gonna load all of them up that are on Facebook. And so I'll be able to find friends that way. And so that's a good way as you wanna start to invite people to your adventure. It's about being thoughtful, because when you follow them, you are following all their boards. Remember, if you can follow just somebody's board, it doesn't mean you're following all of them. But when you hit follow, what you're saying is that I'm okay with them inviting me to boards, collaborating together, sending messages. The thoughtful approach is that you're only going to follow those in a couple of people at a time. So again, that you can be thoughtful and you can actually look at their stuff. So now that I showed you how to find your friends, I am going to show you here how to create a new board. So you're gonna go to that plus sign there. And so we are going to create a new board there. The name of this board is, I'm going to call it Adventure Collab. In the description, what I'm gonna do here is that any of you that wanna collaborate on that, you'll have to follow me, I'll follow you. And then once I do that, if you message me and I think your pin fits, I'm gonna add it to that board and then also invite you to that board because you're showing me that you can curate some cool stuff. Add to the map is again, if a lot of these things were specific to a certain location. And then who can add pins? This is where I can type that person's name. So let's say I have Jeremiah here. So I can invite him. But what I also can do is, let's say I'm not following them on Pinterest. If I know their email address, I can put their email address in here and then that will send them an invite. I can add different parts of my team. So I'll add that and eventually add lots more people to this. And then the idea is there used to be these things called hush boards. And the hush board was, hey, we're keeping this secret. So for example, I'm planning a party later this year with a couple of my friends, and Jeremiah and I had some ideas on what we're gonna do because it's October 21st, 2015, which is the time that the DeLorean went into the future. And so we thought we're gonna have a Back to the Future party. I might want to keep that secret. The collaboration, what's nice about that is normally people just create a board and it's for them, but they don't know, hey, I can actually invite other people to collaborate with me, and I can also create that as a hush board. It used to be limited to 5, but they have expanded that. So now that's really great. So I wanna make this public. I can start to look for pins and search for pins. So let's say I'm gonna search for adventure. In there, what's great is in our search, we can narrow a search it by quotes, Here's one that I like. Oh, darling, let's be adventurous. So I'm gonna go to pin it. What some people do is they don't go ahead and change this so that it's your wording. Sometimes I'll leave that in there and then I'll just put something towards the front because then that's gonna show up in the Google search when it's trying to index that. I'm gonna pick that board and I'm gonna pick Adventure Collab. And so now it has been pinned to that. If I go back to some of these shared boards and I go to like Adventure Collab, this is where I have that board. Now what's great is I can share an individual pin here, right? So I can go right up here and I can edit it, or I can, using this button here, is I can send this pin. This is where the difference between the 3 dots there and the little mail thing is that allows messaging inside of Facebook. For example, I saw a really great pin that I thought my wife would like the other day. It really didn't fit into one of my boards. Just thought, oh, she'd really like it because it dealt with photography. I went to here. Boom, it went right away there. I don't even have to have it be on a board. I can do that. So again, you get the idea is like I have this board and I have pins. I can share those pins or that board with anybody. It doesn't have to just be ones that I own. I can go here, and if I want to share it outside of Pinterest, I can post that right to Facebook, or I can send an email, or I can copy the link. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll copy the link because now I want to use that link on Twitter, for example. Sometimes I'll do something on Instagram and I'll put link in bio. And so sometimes that cross promotion, that allows people to know, oh, I didn't know he had this on Pinterest. Those are all some great ways for you to invite people to collaborate on your boards, but then share your boards and your inspiration with the entire world. So now we know the basic concepts of we have a board and then we have these pins that we can put on our board, and we can find other people's pins and put those on our board. And now what we've shown is that we can invite our friends. And once we find our friends, we can say, hey, let's work on this board together. Let's use it to plan a launch, or let's use it to plan a party. And we can even do that publicly so other people can see, but we can create those private. Or if we see a pin that a friend of ours might like, we can send it to them directly. And then lastly, as a bonus, we showed you how we can share those to maybe Twitter and Facebook. So now, because the life of a pin on a board is a lot longer, we can use that to cross promote and get people to see the other places where we're talking about our adventure. But here's what we want you to do. Your next step is to create a board that you can collaborate with. And so find somebody on your adventure to collaborate with. That can be public, that can be private, and you can even collaborate with me. We created a Adventure Collab board, and so if you want to, make sure you're following me and then send me a pin with a message saying that, hey, I think that this pin would be great for that board. Can I be part of the collaboration? And then I will invite you into that. Or you can send me a Facebook message if we don't get back to you right away, because adventure is about doing that with other people, and Pinterest will help you collaborate with that, and you can plan the adventures and you can inspire each other with dreams, because your adventure begins right now.